Okay, we're going to write an equation of a parabola given a real world situation. The first thing I'm going to do is talk about what the problem is asking us. So in the problem, it's saying that there's a solar energy that can be concentrated using a long trough that has a parabolic cross section. And then they want us to write an equation that represents this cross section. Well, when I'm looking at this, this is my parabolic trough, which means it's sort of this U-shaped trough. And the cross section is just this piece right here, this one little sliver in the front. That's what it means to be a cross section. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this equation. This is the equation that I would use to create a parabola that I can say, well, I know that I have a height between my vertex and my focus, and that's what this P is right here, so that gives me some starting ground. I also want to use my H and K, so that's going to be the vertex. And I'm going to look at my picture here and start putting things in where I think they need to be. Well, if I say, well, this is my little cross section right here, this little U shape, I can say, well, my vertex is going to be at the bottom, and I can choose to say, well, I'm going to graph this in the plane and say, I'm going to make that vertex here at 0, 0. I also know that this is opening up on this trough, so I can say I know that this little sign right here, well, that's going to be positive. So I can go, I know that I'm going to have a positive sign and that my vertex is going to be 0, 0. So that kind of gets me started. When I'm trying to figure out the rest of this, I need to figure out what my where my focus is. And this information right here tells me the distance between the bottom of the trough and the focus. And so it's 1.7. So I'm going to put this in green here and say I know that right about here, right, this is my distance P, which is 1.7. And I'm going to put that in as a point on my graph and say, well, my x is 0 and the focus here is at 1.7. Okay, so I have that information. That's going to tell me that I can at least put my p in here, and I'm going to rewrite this equation and do that now. So I've got y equals 1 over 4 times 1.7 and x minus 0 squared plus 0. Okay. When I take out my handy dandy calculator, I can multiply these two numbers together, and that's going to give me that my equation is going to be y equals 1 over 6.8. That's these two numbers. That's 4 times 1.7 is 6.8. And then I have x minus 0. So x minus 0 is just x, and say that's times x squared, and plus 0 right here. I don't really need that, so I'm not going to write him down over here. That's going to give me the equation of my parabola.